Wii Wonders!
Welcome, wonderful watchers, to the launch of my new series, Wii Wonders. I'm Souldin of the Grin Brothers, and this is my new Wii review series, the first episode of which kind of a test run, as it were. I've never done a review show before, and this will also be one of the first videos which is primarily scripted of mine. I mean, I've done the odd scripted thing. In any case, where shall I begin with the launch of my new series? Well, it's only fitting, when doing the launch of a Wii review show, to consider playing and reviewing the big launch title of the Wii itself. The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, will be my very first review on Wii Wonders. Let's start.
Story time!
The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is an action-adventure game developed and published by Nintendo in 2006 for both the Wii and the GameCube. It served as one of the major launch titles for the Wii and tells the story of Link. Hold on, you get to name him, so... Tells the story of Blaze and his horse, Nanka. Blaze is a horseman/shepherd who dreams of becoming mayor by herding goats, fishing, herding goats, falconry with a hawk, playing with kids, herding goats, wrestling goats, herding goats, but then monsters attack. Luckily, he has a sword to protect himself. Oh, he gave that away. Curse you, Taro, this is all your fault! So the children get kidnapped. Blaze turns into a fairy, wolf, and then becomes a servant to an imp named Midna. So now Blaze has to find a way to transform back, save the children, find some bugs, and also save all of Hyrule. Weirdly enough, one of the strangest powers of the Triforce of Courage. They don't really talk about this too much. The story has a heavy emphasis in this Zelda entry, resulting in a sluggish opening, a rather restricted first half of a game, and frequent interruptions from cutscenes. But it's fantastic. The story is fantastic and told fantastically through spectacular settings, charming characters, and decent dosages of drama with an appropriate level of darkness. Holy heck, that got dark quick! Darker still, yeesh! Character-wise, the only characters I wasn't too pleased with during my playtime were Zelda and Midna. The former barely appeared, and the latter is a constant ally you have to endure until character development takes effect, with my other gripes concerning her being gameplay-based. Blaze, or Link, or whatever you decide to name him, came across as having a surprising amount of character to him. A good chunk of that might be interpretation, but there are plenty of interactions he has with other characters to derive from, as well as a plethora of expressions displayed in the many cutscenes throughout.
Instruction time!
As a byproduct of originally being designed with the GameCube solely in mind, the unique Wii motion controls are a touch more simple than in other Wii titles, such as the Red Steel series, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, or even Sonic and the Black Knight. Sword swings don't even try and replicate your Wii Remote swing, with waggling functioning purely as an attack button and additional buttons altering the move. This is, however, to the game's benefit, as it allows for an easier transition to the actions and commands of the Wolf Link form, or Wolf Blaze form. As such, you barely need a second to remember the controls when forced into one form or the other, or later on, when you switch freely between the two to overcome obstacles. Of course, there are commands unique to either form, and as such, controls unique to either form. Blaze/Link can assign weapons and items to the D-pad, either as a means to use the item, such as the iron boots, or to have it as a hotkey to swap around the B-button assigned item. Wolf Blaze, meanwhile, uses the D-pad command to sense enemies and smells, or to dig into specific spots. Both characters can use the up D-pad arrow to activate various Midna-related commands, such as unhelpful conversations, on-the-fly transformations, or jumping sequences. I call it the Midna jump. That require you to be standing in a very specific spot to trigger. B-move for Wolf form is a multi-striking area attack involving Midna, whereas the Hylian humanoid form can activate various tools, some requiring additional actions than a single button press. Slingshot and the bow and arrow are the obvious examples, utilising Wii Remote aiming for precise shots. Oh, I should also mention the horse riding of Epona/Nanka, which follows the same template of combat, with waggles equaling sword swings and the B button allowing for the aiming of projectiles. The one unique factor is the A button serving as a dual dash/jump, but all roots itself in the factor of a simple controls allowing for easier cohesion.
Action time!
As mentioned earlier, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is an action-adventure game featuring sword combat, wolf combat, horse combat, a plethora of tools and plenty of minigames such as ghost herding. The first half of your adventure, though, is typically structured like this. First you enter a new area consumed by twilight, and venture through it as a wolf in search of bugs. You are then tasked with an objective or two in order to gain access to that area's dungeon. You then venture through the dungeon's many enemies and puzzles, gain a new item, and then use said item to defeat the dungeon's boss. Of course, many story elements and the odd side quest / minigame spice things up in between, but otherwise sticks to this formula. This does change when you later gain the ability to freely switch between Wolf and Hylian form, which is a huge improvement as it drops the tedious annoying fetch quest for bugs containing tears of light and instead applies them to the cool and creative dungeons. The dungeons are a joy to play through, and whilst not the most creative in design or theme, are creative in item usage and bosses. Just going to showcase a bit of the puzzle solving. I like this little Z pan here, and then you just lock on to each of the individual sort of things in order, and go 1, make a Z shape. And I'm very glad I did that successfully in this old recording of it. Except the water dungeon. That was a nightmare that I needed a guide to get through. Side quests are few but fun, be it delivering hot spring water to Gorant, or my favourite personal task of exploring Hyrule to discover golden bugs for the super cute Agatha. Much better than the bug-related Tears of Light quests. Minigames vary a bit more in quality, but wrestling, flying monster rides and boat rides proved entertaining breaks from standard gameplay. On a negative angle though, most of the game's problems can be summed up in one word: tedious. Climbing is sluggish, tasks can be repetitive purely for tutorial's sake, and the frequent story moments grinds exploration to a halt. One negative even highlights a positive, as whilst the wolf form never gains new techniques, Blaze with his sword and shield benefits from constant new equipment and sword techniques, making said form more fun to play as. Again, this is somewhat sold where you can switch back and forth, but be warned that the game's Wolf and Hylian gameplay is a roughly 40-60 split. The graphical style is not my cup of tea, but dear gosh does the Twilight Realm look beautiful, particularly the Twilight-enveloped Hyrule Castle. Characters aren't quite as clean looking as other Zelda titles, but they can be quite memorable and the overall game still looks lovely today. I don't have much of an ear for sound or music, but there are some pleasant songs and tunes which lend themselves well to feelings of drama, darkness, sadness, and most importantly of all, triumph.
Ending time.
Waggle Time is over, and the two questions left to answer are as follows. What are my overall thoughts on this game, and who do I recommend this game for? Overall, I found The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess to be a fun game with easy to pick up controls and a variety of enjoyable activities. It is marred by a sluggish pace caused by lengthy tutorials and a heavy focus on story, but that story and the characters and world within the tale serves as Twilight Princess's greatest strength. The Water Temple was infuriating, but I got through it because I wanted to see the tale unfold further. As to who I would recommend the game for, that is actually a tricky question. The game's overall easiness, large linearity early on, and many tutorials make it perfect for kids, but the game is rated PEGI 12 for good reason. I can suggest it readily for those above 12 who have never played a Zelda game before, but for those under 12, that is a parental decision as to whether said content is appropriate for your child. Fans of Ocarina of Time are another group I advise playing this game due to its numerous references to that Zelda entry in particular. Finally, fans of games with dark themes and good stories but not keen on too much gore in them would also find entertainment here. Whether you'll choose to play the Wii wonder that is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is up to you, but either way I hope you enjoyed this review and I thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. Cheerio!